we're here at the 2023 edition of Dorney Park's Haunt. This is our 4th stop on the Haunted Amusement Park events that we're hitting this year. And this may or may not be our last one for the year, we'll see. We're going to go take a look at the houses that they have here, some of the food that they offer, and the beverages. They have 3 different bars here. We may or may not be able to record inside the house. We'll find out as the night goes on. If they do allow us to record inside of the houses, we'll be recording in 6 of the 7. We'll give you more reasons as to why that last one we won't be recording inside of later on in the video. If it turns out that we can't record inside of the houses, we'll still give you our reviews after we're done going through them. Let you know what we thought, and hopefully you can make your way over here to check it out for yourself. Keep in mind that like King's Dominion, Dorney Park's Haunt ends on 10/28, so it will not be open for Halloween. So if you plan to come here for Halloween, you may want to come a little bit sooner. Here's a look at Dorney Park's Haunt map. They have a lot of entertainment and houses and scare zones. Compared to King's Dominion, they even have a little more than they do. 5 indoor mazes, 7 outdoor scares, which are a combination of the outdoor houses and the scare zones, 3 different entertainment shows, and also some bars. As you can see, the 2 black music notes are the entertainment locations. The purple bats are where you can go for some drinks. There is a 3rd one over here. And then the green skulls are outdoor mazes, and the orange skulls are indoor mazes, which the indoor mazes also include down here near the Iron Menace construction, the brand new house that they're calling Ghost in the Machine. Here's a billboard showing all of the haunt entertainment that's going on this year, including at the bottom the Planet Snoopy entertainment. Some of it is actually over in the Wildwater Kingdom area on the Great Pumpkin Fest stage. But if you want to look at everything that they have in terms of entertainment, you can scan this QR code for the schedule. At the very front of the park, as soon as you enter, on one side of the carousel is this giant Halloween Haunt at Dorney Park sign. That's a really impressive sign, but unfortunately they do not have a professional photographer out here to take your picture in front of it. As you cross underneath of the lift hill for Talon, you'll come to Dorney Park's version of the Great Pumpkin Fest, which is in what was the water park during the summer months. Out in front, the Facade has a mummy Snoopy and a masked Charlie Brown pumpkin in front of it. On the opposite side of the carousel is Dorney's giant show stage. It looks like they have 2 pipe organs in the background. That's not quite as elaborate as the one at King's Dominion. It's still really nice though. There are going to be 2 shows here. They'll have the opening Scaremony at 6:50, and then they'll be doing the new Conjure the Night show at 7, 8, 9:15, and 10:15. Conjure the Night is the show that we didn't get to see at King's Dominion because of a staffing issue, I guess you could say. So hopefully this show is similar to the one they do at King's Dominion. We'll get to see what that one's like here. One of the centerpieces of the Midway as you enter the park is this Dorney Park Haunt truck covered in skeletons and this coffin. It also on the back has the dates for Dorney Park Haunt. The truck's about 10 feet tall. It has huge tires on it, covered in spider webs. That's a really cool centerpiece for the park here. Here's a look at an Egyptian-themed photo op with giant mummies on either side of the area. That's a really cool decoration that they have here right on the Midway. And right behind that is the Misfits Bar, also decorated with an Egyptian theme. They don't have any menu out here, so I'm not sure exactly what kind of drinks they'll be serving or if the drinks will have Egyptian themes with them, but here's a look at what the bar looks like right here. One of the first things you come to when you enter the park. The Midway, as you enter the park, is supposedly going to be a scare zone called Misfits of the Midway as you come down here. There isn't really much in terms of decoration to show here. Really, the only things of note in the Midway are the giant haunt truck here as the centerpiece that we showed earlier, and the bar, the Misfits Bar, that's at the opposite end of the Midway. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot to look at this time of day here. Next to Good Time Gifts, the main gift shop in the park near the entrance/exit, they have some pumpkin decorations along this walkway, and they also have their horse topiary decorated with the Haunt logo on its saddle and around the side. A couple more pumpkins. These are kind of goofy. That one over there, and then this one over here that almost looks like a squash. I'm not sure why that pumpkin is shaped like that. And then last but not least, this goofy guy throwing up his pumpkin seeds. And then we can't miss this giant jack-o'-lantern out in front of the Woodstock Express coaster. This thing is massive and spooky. This is really awesome. On the side of the Good Time Theater, they have a giant Halloween haunt billboard. It's the biggest one I've seen in the park. That's really cool. The tourist trap facade is really cool. It kind of looks like a little storefront here getting ready for the World's Fair. The actual house is over this way, but you have to go down this hill right here, which is a pretty steep hill, so prepare your feet to actually get to the entrance archway itself and the actual logo for the attraction. Tourist trap from collector to killer. So this one has a subtitle too, but I think this subtitle has been here for several years. Themed to a hotel, just like the No Vacancy haunted house over at King's Dominion, except this one's a little bit more elaborate, I feel. Or at least as far as I remember from the last time we were here. This walkway here in front of the facade used to have even more decorations, some pillars and doorways that had like wanted and missing posters along them, but it looks like they got rid of all those extra decorations for some reason, unfortunately. Here we are at Dorney Park's version of Blood on the Bayou, which we saw over at King's Dominion also. From what I remember, this one was usually our favorite house at Dorney Park's haunts. We thought that this Blood on the Bayou was better than King's Dominion's, though this year's King's Dominion's Blood on the Bayou was great, so we'll see if this one still can hold a candle to that one. The last time that we were here, the Fun Zone Arcade was being used as a haunted house. It used to be a wax museum theme. It was a really good house. I'm really disappointed to see that they did away with that one. But they've still kept across the way from it the Blackout haunted house, which unfortunately I have to say that year in and year out, Blackout is probably our least favorite haunted house at this park. They had a Blackout at King's Dominion a while ago, and they got rid of it there probably for good reason, because it's not really a great house. It's essentially completely pitch black inside of there, and you're just walking through the dark and feeling around. They do have, yeah, like that, basically. They do have illuminated arrows here and there to help you find your way, but otherwise it's completely dark. So there's not really much of a facade to shoot here. It's just these closed metal doors right now. I'm not sure if they're going to let us film inside the houses or not, but even if they do, we will not be filming inside this house since it's intended to be completely pitch black, and no matter how dim I have my phone, it'll still be too much light, so we will not be filming this, and plus there's really nothing to see anyway since it's all pitch black in there. By Hydra's gift shop is this big skull denoting the entrance to the Port of Call Scare Zone. This is probably the largest scare zone in the park, and actually there's a little bit back behind us here on these poles are some pirate skeletons hanging off of them and some barrels off to the side of the walkway, but nothing much else going on over there. The bulk of the scare zone is over this way near the chicken shack. If you come up this hill, you can see they have one of their show stages up here for the Skeleton Crew show. They have a model of a tavern next to it, which is cool looking. And most of the scare zone involves some models of pirate ships. You can see there's a skeletal mermaid and a pirate captain on this one. A nice pirate skeleton on these treasure chests. They also have some stockades here for a photo opportunity that shows Port of Call and Dorney Park haunts. They have signs up here for the Skeleton Crew showtimes. You can see they're doing it 3 times today, 7:15, 8:30, and 9:45. Continuing around the scare zone, these skeletons on these barrels lead you to the Port of Call Pub, another one of the bars that they have in this area, in this park. Obviously a pirate-themed pub. And another piece of the broken pirate ship over here. This scare zone has been in this area for years and they keep bringing it back, but I can see why. It's very elaborate. The scenery's nice and it's cool that they have a show over here. And here is the front of the pirate ship. That's going to be awesome late at night when there are scare actors around here. As long as you don't go through the netting, you can actually take a peek inside this particular pirate ship. They have a desk and a chair, some broken barrels through the netting. Some nice attention to detail. There's even a couple of gold bars down there. Back around this way, they also have some barrels with skulls and crossbones. I'm assuming these are rum barrels. Leading you to a walkway with more of the skeletal pirates on these poles, hanging from the poles. And at the end of this walkway in the distance there, you can see there are more of the, what I assume are the rum barrels with the skulls and crossbones on them. This set of barrels on the other end actually have an old diver suit on top of them. It'll be interesting to see if they actually have scare actors come all the way down this way for the scare zone, or if this is just scenery. Just a quick fun little detail, near Hydra's Cobra Roll, they have some hay bales decorated like jack-o'-lanterns. Not a big deal, but just something a little bit fun. We're going to grab lunch today at one of our favorite theme park places to eat, Chickies and Pete's. And here's a look at the Chickies and Pete's menu. They have a whole bunch of stuff. They have wings, chicken sandwiches, Philly cheesesteaks. As you can see, they also have some specialty cocktails as well. They have burgers at the bottom. It's kind of difficult to see because of the glare, but here's a look at the burgers that they have. And pizza. They have a bunch of special alcoholic drinks here that are named after things at the park. You can see Wildwater Kingdom's Lazy Lager up there. As you go down, they also have an Alfundo Ale. Next to that, you can see they have a Haunted Hops, which I believe is limited time for the holiday. They also, over here, they have a Steel Force and a Thunderhawk cocktail, as well as non-alcoholic. They have Dominator and Possessed. I got the buffalo chicken sandwich, which comes with lettuce and blue cheese crumbles. And Jen, of course, she had to get the cheesesteak. You can't come to Chickies and Pete's without somebody getting a cheesesteak. Both the cheesesteak and my sandwich were $13.49 a piece. And as you can see listed on here, snack crab fries, which are these. We also got, comes with a dipping sauce as well, not a queso, but a cheese dipping sauce. And that was an additional $10.29. And then with our season pass discount, it came up to $35.55, but that was without drinks because Chickies and Pete's has a separate bar over here where you order your drinks separately. And I also got a refillable soda, so our drinks weren't included on that. If you include the beer, unfortunately they didn't give Jen a receipt for her beer, so we're not entirely sure what it was, but our meal came up to in the upper 40s, I would say, for all of this. With Jen's meal, she opted for the Ale Fundo, which comes in its own logo can. That's a really nice touch. It even says Dorney Park on there. This is a fruit ale, and the can is 16 ounces, and it has 5% alcohol, so not too bad. We both give the crab fries an A, and by the way, they're called crab fries just because of the seasoning. There is no actual crab on these fries. They're always great, and the cheese is really flavorful as well. Jen gave her cheesesteak an A. She she has had the cheesesteak a lot, and she always likes it. This one's good as usual. She said that she almost wanted to give it an A+, except that the bread is a little bit harder than usual. And speaking of hard bread, I thought that the bun on my sandwich was also a little bit too hard. That's the only real knock I have on it. As you can see, one thing that's really cool, they doubled up on the chicken patties. I have 2 chicken patties on this sandwich, so it's a lot of meat. And the buffalo chicken isn't like super hot, but from a theme park restaurant, I wasn't really expecting it to be too terribly hot. It was actually pretty good. I almost want to give this an A, but because the bun is a little bit harder than I'd like, I think I'd have to give it a B+. The Chickies and Pete's has some cool neon signs around the restaurant for their local beers. Here's the one for Haunted Hops. I'd like to show you all of them, but most of them are by where people are sitting, so I can't get around those other signs. Appropriately near some Carnival games, you turn around, you come to the Carn-Evil Scare Zone. Here's a daytime look. All the creepy clowns. Their decorations aren't nearly as creepy as what King's Dominion has for their Cleaver Brothers Carnival, but they still do a really good job of theming this area. The Carn-Evil Scare Zone used to be just a little narrow walkway. They've spread it out, moved it to this area, spread it out a little bit. Put all these funhouse mirrors everywhere. They have all these, I guess you could call them freak show posters along the wall here. They have a Jack in the Box up one there. It'll be interesting to see if that one actually does anything when Haunt actually starts. They have this cool display. That's a really creepy clown on that banner up there. They also have their Jack, similar to the Jack that was at King's Dominion, except this one is holding a couple of smaller clowns hostage. Some of these clowns are really creepy, the way they drew them. There's another look at the signage over here. There are really no other decorations down this walkway, but there are a bunch more of these posters. I really like the artwork for these posters, including this man-eating chicken, which is positively alive. They have a little ticket booth over here. Another Jack in the Box near Jen. This mirror has a little cannon on top of it. And then they have creepy clown masks over here by the Music Express. Ending with the second Carn-Evil archway and another creepy clown on top of this box. So yeah, not a very big area, but the decorations are pretty elaborate for a small park. The games in the Carn-Evil Scare Zone have changed their names to things that are more spooky. They have Medusa's Revenge, the Darts of Death, the Blood Bank, and they changed the bank over here to Scary Eyeballs. Decapitation Dunk, and the backboards have also changed to the Scary Clowns. The Down the Clown has the Spooky Clown prizes now, and they also changed the backdrop there to the Spooky Clown. But for some reason, Whack-A-Mole is still the same, with Mario and Luigi on the sign. Like King's Dominion, Dorney Park has a Black Cat No Boo necklace for $15.99. So if you don't want to be scared walking through the scare zones, this is your opportunity to buy a necklace. And the scare actors in the scare zones won't scare you. However, they will scare you still inside the houses, so it's best to avoid the houses if you really don't want to be scared. Inside the Edge gift shop near the Carn-Evil Scare Zone, they have various Dorney Park Halloween Haunt merchandise, including these various sweatshirts, or hoodies I should say. Jen's holding up one of them. This design, Haunt at Dorney Park, is $49.99, which is pretty reasonable for a theme park hoodie. They have this pink cutoff one, some jack-o'-lantern floppy hats. This one here is $41.99 for this design. And the one down here is $39.99. Actually, that they also have a long sleeve shirt version that is $24.99 with the exact same design on it. Oh, and they have some Dorney Park Haunt gloves. They are $11.99.
Tyler, put them back right now. You're not allowed to.
They also have various Haunt shirts. They have one specifically for the Carn-Evil scare zone with a creepy clown on there. Some skeletons in front of all their coasters and drop towers. The Carn-Evil shirt glows in the dark and it is $26.99. They also have this Dorney Park Haunt shirt and another one with a bunch of creepy clowns. They have some Haunt shot glasses, the tall kind. And they also have this Dorney Park Haunt water bottle that matches that hoodie we saw over there. The water bottle is $19.99. And they have these green cups. Do these have a Haunt logo? I don't think they do, but they do have a skull on them. So they're still pretty creepy. $22.99. Interesting that those are more money despite not having an actual Haunt logo on them. There are Haunt mugs, same logo, and also the Haunt logo on the back of the mug. For $12.99. There is a Haunt drawstring backpack, and at the register some baseball caps in neon green and pink, and some Haunt socks. And these are pretty cool. They have some Haunt decals that have some of the house logos. Oh, these are actually stickers, not removable decals, and they are $12.99. Over near Thunderhawk and Steel Force, there are two houses pretty close together. The first one is Necropolis, an outdoor house that goes through a graveyard. You can kind of see a little bit of a mausoleum in the distance. There's not really much of a facade to this one, so this is all I can show you for that right now. Beyond that, they have these little colorful boxes scattered around the area. This isn't an official scare zone. I don't think anything is going to actually be happening around here. I'll actually take a better look at these boxes when it gets darker and they're lit up, because they do light up if I remember correctly from the last time we were here. Here's a little bit better of an angle on the mausoleum of the Necropolis from outside. But beyond those boxes, near the Steel Force photo booth, is the Trick or Treat house, which, much like King's Dominion's version, has to do with witches, and they have a pretty cool facade too. It's not a full-blown house like King's Dominion had, it's just a facade of a house, but the detail in this is pretty cool, how they make it look so much creepier than the actual house that King's Dominion has. The art style in this is really awesome. Here's a daytime look at the Dystopia scare zone. This one is new to us. I'm not sure how many years it's been here previously, but I bet this one's going to look awesome at nighttime. Bunch of spray painted shipping containers. They also have the Outpost Bar over here. So it's one nice place to stop for a drink. Strangely enough, it ends at Alfundo's house. That doesn't seem to really fit the area, but they have a bunch of this scaffolding with containers on top. This graffiti that they have on these containers is really cool. Doesn't seem like this is a very big scare zone, but it's got a lot of cool theming. My early thoughts are this might be my favorite one here, just purely in terms of theming. It ends or begins at this giant archway. I'm assuming ends, since that one shipping container shows the name of the scare zone on it back the other way. Actually, if I would have turned around, I would have seen that there's a shipping container in this direction that also has the name of the scare zone on it. And this pretty cool graffitied container over here too that I almost missed. Exiting the Dystopia scare zone puts you right out at the Roadside Stop and Chop, which used to be Cornstalkers. They changed the theme a little bit. It's down at the end of this walkway next to Demon Drop. For some reason, Dorney Park is deciding not to open Demon Drop tonight until Haunt starts at 6 p.m. tonight. Here's a daytime look at the Roadside Stop and Chop Facade. They still have corn stalks everywhere, so it's not too entirely different from the way Cornstalkers was, but the facade's a little more elaborate, a little bit nicer. I wonder how much the actual inside has changed since we were last here. This area out in front of Thunderhawk used to be a really awesome medieval themed scare zone. Looks like they did away with that scare zone. Now we have some hay bales and some of the goofy looking giant skeletons like we saw at Planet Snoopy at King's Dominion. I don't have anything against these giant skeletons. They're actually pretty cool, but I do miss that scare zone that they had here because that was one of my favorites in the park. These skeletons are in different poses than the ones we saw in Planet Snoopy. I kind of like these. They're more dynamic poses, I guess you can say. I really like their expressiveness. They continue all through this area, going even past the scrambler that's over here and around the corner. I think they end right there with the skeleton that has his hands raised up. Let's take a daytime look at the Hollow Scare Zone, which leads the way down to the construction that they're doing on the new Iron Menace coaster. You cross right over the Zephyr tracks, which the Zephyr is actually down until Iron Menace opens because the train tracks go right by the construction site. They also have a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns surrounding the train tracks for the time being. I love this little shack that they've built over here. And this creepy scarecrow. That's a scare human as much as it is a scarecrow. Big stack of jack-o'-lanterns all over the place. For once, we're actually going through the scare zone the correct direction, but despite the fact that this is the correct, well, quote-unquote correct way to start the scare zone, they have stuff to look at in both directions, because if you turn around, they have this giant tree here. More decorations, more buildings around the way. They do some great set design here for this to be such a small park. Another building over here. I'm curious if any of these doors actually open up. It doesn't look like it, but that doesn't mean that they don't. I have another one of these jack-o'-lantern looking fences here, and another one of those incredibly creepy scarecrows. I love the pumpkins they have hanging from the trees and the lines up here too. And then you exit through. It's a pretty short scare zone. You come out to some corn stalks, but I believe that this is probably where the actual scare zone proper ends. They also have a hollow sign coming from the other direction, something that I missed as I was walking through the scare zone. Because of the Iron Menace construction, I guess Monster is also too close to the Iron Menace construction, so that's also closed until the coaster opens up. As you can see, there is absolutely nothing here. I'm pretty sure last time we were here, Monster was still standing, but I could be mistaken. A quick Iron Menace construction update. The construction walls have pushed all the way back past the Ritas next to Possessed now. So the construction is advancing deep into the park now. I'm not even completely sure that these walls are for the Iron Menace construction. They might be doing something else over here now. As the construction walls continue to creep outward for Iron Menace, keep in mind that there is a small chance that at some point they may need to temporarily close Possessed. the Impulse coaster right here for purposes of the construction. I don't think it's too likely, but I just wanted to mention that it's a possibility. Right next to the Iron Menace teaser wall that they have near the coaster construction that we showed on a previous video, they've added the Ghost in the Machine haunted house signage, which is right down this path at the end of this walkway. Brand new haunted house that's themed to a similar storyline to what the storyline of Iron Menace is going to be. All along the walkway toward Iron Menace, they've added these banners up on the light poles. They have several of them as you make your way toward what will become the Iron Menace queue entrance. Peeking through this little gap in the fence, you can see a couple of footers being put in place here. At least the spots where they're going to be. The actual footers themselves aren't in place yet, but that's a step in the right direction. Here's a look at the facade for the Ghost in the Machine haunted house. When we were here last time, we filmed this thinking that it was going to be the entrance to the queue for actually Iron Menace before we knew that there was going to be a haunted house back here. But now that we know this is the facade for the Ghost in the Machine house, this is a really elaborate facade. You can see the McTavish smokestacks back in the back. Nice rundown wall. The McTavish steel sign, which is lit up in neon. It'll probably look great when we're here tonight for the actual house. They really went all out with this facade. This is really cool. The top of the facade has a ghostly message for you. It says, "Ooh." The walkway that goes between both halves of Thunderhawk has some cool banners hanging up for each of the houses. They have the brand new Ghost in the Machine. Beyond that, they have Trick or Treat. Beyond that is another Ghost in the Machine banner. Past that second Ghost in the Machine banner, they have a Necropolis banner, and then a third Ghost in the Machine banner. They're making sure that everybody knows about the new Ghost in the Machine house that's here this year. Inside Good Time Gifts, they have a bunch of Halloween-themed souvenirs. These squishy pumpkins with a witch hat on. They have the Haunt shirt that we saw earlier, as well as this other steampunk Haunt shirt, which is $26.99. They have shot glasses, and they also have magnets. They also have a second shot glass that we didn't see in the other store. Fear is waiting for you. They have some Ouija board tumblers, as well as this really cool water bottle that actually lists all of the houses and the scare zones on it. They have a bunch of stuffed Alfundos here, which is kind of mean to put him with all the Halloween stuff. He's not supposed to be scary. But there we go. We also didn't see this shirt in the Edge gift shop, I don't think. Fear is waiting for you. As well as the other clown Haunt shirt. They have the scary jack-o'-lantern glow-in-the-dark Haunt shirt. And above it, a matching hoodie. They have a bunch of other Haunt shirts in here too. Various colored logos. These two hoodies we saw elsewhere and back in the Edge gift shop, but this tie-dye Haunt shirt I don't think we saw. $24.99 for that. They also have some other decorations around these archways here. With the pool and this chair looks familiar if you saw our King's Dominion video. They put it in the Edge gift shop. Not in the Edge, sorry. They put it in the Good Time gift shop here. But above that, something King's Dominion didn't have. There's a vampire bat hanging down above you. They also have this rib cage with a broken rib near where the heart is. And they have, yet again, making Alfundo scary. They have a scary Alfundo shirt. Shot glasses, other shirts that we saw elsewhere. They have a bunch of different coaster designs for drinks here. They have the green skeletons, the scary Alfundo, and the Haunt steampunk design that we saw earlier, as well as some keychains, the green skeletons, and the Ouija board. And the same shirts that we saw earlier. There's the steampunk design on a keychain. Some more of these green tumblers in the archway. These are similar to the ones that King's Dominion with the light up eyes, except their eyes aren't actually lit up. But they do have bats hanging off of King's Dominion Midway. They have a different magnet up here, magnet design, flaming jack-o'-lantern. And they also have the sock designs. Using the same designs as everything else that they have in here. This wooden sticker is a little bit different. They have some of their rides. They have a little fundo over here. Oh, also with the magnets, I forgot to mention, they also have a bottle opener up here as well. They have Dorney Park Haunt fanny packs if you're into that sort of thing. Some lanyards, and around this side, in addition to the gloves that we saw earlier, they also have jack-o'-lantern haunt beanies. I didn't notice before, this Fear is Waiting for You shirt on the back side actually lists everything that's at Halloween haunts, the houses and the scare zones. It does not list the bars, but it does list the one show, the Skeleton Crew show. It also lists the crypt on here, which I don't see on the map anywhere, so I'm not sure why the crypt is listed on here, but it has everything else on here. Though it is missing the Misfits of the Midway scare zone for some reason. I don't know why they have the crypt and not Misfits of the Midway, but that's not a huge deal. The shirt is $24.99 if you like clothing that has all the houses and scare zones listed on it. I nearly missed this long sleeve haunt shirt. Looks like the Ouija board tumbler that's right below it. And also below that they have a matching tote bag. The tote bag is $19.99, which isn't a terrible price for that. Inside of Good Time and Gifts they sell fresh fudge for $9.99 for a half-pound piece. You can see some of the fudge here behind this Halloween decorated case. For this time of year they have a special candy corn flavor. As you can see, it actually has bits of candy corn in the fudge. In the back of the shelf they also have pumpkin pie flavor and maple bacon flavor. Plus a little bit farther over they have a pumpkin praline fudge there in the back corner. Prior to the start of the opening Scaremonies, a group of scare actors are mingling with the crowd out here.
Terror
If you stand on the grave of Hiram McTavish, you can feel his heart still beating through your shoes. Who here is willing to stand on the grave and feel the heartbeat? Yes, I see a volunteer over there. Look at this soul. Everyone give him a round of applause. Nice to meet you. Come right over here. Stand on the grave of Hiram McTavish. Now, can you feel his heart beating? No. Really try and feel it. Can you feel his heart beating? No. Well, all right. Can you feel your own heart beating? Yes. You can feel your own heart beating. Well, I'd like to feel your heart beating! Face your fear tonight, my prey! I've got quite a show in store for you this evening. So stick around for 7 o'clock and witness me conjure the night. I better see you in attendance. I know your faces now. Now, let Halloween hunt awaken!
Something that matters.
Kneel before me, you pathetic scrap of flesh! I, Hecate, have plucked the scepter of midnight from hell itself, but its spark must be restored. Only the spirit of the night, through its evil power, I will command chaos. I will support I will surrender it to your step. Dark spirit, I pledge my soul for the ultimate evil that I might once again rule the darkness. Come to me, malignant spirit. Restore the scepter and goddess. Speak to me, dark scepter. Speak!
I can feel the cold hand of death and the end drawing near. I've seen gods of the men and all which they fear.
The time has come, my children! Now! Now! Tonight I shall rise! I summon the malignant spirit of the night! I call upon chaos! Lust! Terror! And excess! Dark spirit! Help me restore the scepter of midnight! Help me rule the night! Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget my son. To include everyone. Our descendants tonight upon us. My dark creatures have materialized. The scepter draws power from all. But it is the energy of chaos that drives our descent into the night. He brings the dark creatures forth. Master of mayhem, bend to my will. I command chaos. We lust for the pulsating abyss of midnight. Bring this thirst to bear for me, and succumb to lust. Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman. I've got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see. This is not a test. This is your goddess, Hecate, announcing the commencement of the annual purge of humanity. I unleash terror.
Exactly. Hey, is this thing around? Cleaning you out and my satisfaction.
So close! So close! I'm on the precipice! One last spirit in the tower! I surrender to excess!
You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Lamborghini? You gotta work! You gotta work! You gotta work!
Yes! Yes! The scepter is restored! I will rise! I will rise! But wait! Why has the power not passed into me? No! The power of the spirits combined is too strong! How is this possible? How can this be? What have you done?
It doesn't hurt me yet. Do you wanna feel how it feels? Do you wanna know that it doesn't hurt me?
Wanna hear about the deal that I made?
Wanna know that
No! I'm ruined! Diminished! How can an idle and terrible desire lose control? How has it come to this? How?
King of hearts, you gon' keep on playing till you go too far. No one in the world could ever be enough.
Savor your victory, daughter! You may have won this time, but mark my words! Heed my warning! I will return to conjure the night!
Now that Haunt has officially started for the night, Coaster's Drive-In has now become Coaster's Die-In. We're going to at least try to make an effort to do the houses in as logical of an order as possible, which means starting with the nearest one, which is Blackout. It'll be nice to get this one out of the way because I don't have high hopes for it. So Blackout was basically just what we expected. They did add a storyline to the beginning, which is kind of neat, about a candy factory and the owner of the candy factory giving up on the business and burning down everything with everybody still inside. So that was kind of interesting, but there was nothing really through the rest of the house to advance that storyline, so I'm not really entirely sure why it was necessary. It was basically just preying on your fear of the dark and having some noises here and there, occasional scare actors. It was pretty bare of scare actors, so really it was just you walking along in the dark, wondering where they were. It wasn't really a big deal, but we really didn't expect it to be anyway, so it's going to be low on the list. We knew it going in, it was going to be low on the list, but at least we gave it a shot. Over at the S'more Than a Feeling food truck that's right behind the Misfits of the Midway Misfits Scare Zone, Jen got these 2 s'mores. For 2 s'mores, it is $6.88. So we're gonna snack on them. They look like they're just standard s'mores, graham crackers, marshmallow, chocolate. We'll give them a shot. So as you can see, we devoured the s'mores. Our main complaint is that the portion size was too small for the money. They were light and fluffy, and they tasted pretty good, so the flavor was there, and we just wish that the portion size was a little bit bigger. The second house we're stopping by is Blood on the Bayou. This looks really cool at night with the fire lit and the lights on the house. Blood on the Bayou was as good as we remembered. There were so many good rooms. There were a lot of great scare actors in there. There were some people that were really in character. They got down into the swampy looking area and jumped up and surprised us. There were so many jump scares in there, it was unbelievable. The ending is really awesome. They kind of set you up with a room full of snake cages where the snakes are let loose, and then you go into the next room and there's a big shock to end it. I won't spoil the ending, but that's something really cool and really unexpected. Exactly, that's how I reacted when I saw the ending. But yeah, that's definitely one of the top, if not the top house here, even though we've only been through 2. I'm sure it's going to be hard to beat that one. There's one thing I wanted to mention I did find kind of strange in that house is that usually they have open spaces for you to go from room to room, but they actually made you open doors yourself to get from room to room in there, so that was kind of different, kind of strange. It's not a huge knock against the thing, I just thought it was a little odd. Unfortunately, none of the signage out in front said anything against video recording, as long as the light of the screen is kept low, but the scare actor out in front of the attraction specifically said no videography, so we decided to be good to the rules, we cut the camera. It's kind of a shame. During Haunt, the Misfits Bar has a DJ on top of it, and periodically the scare actors will get together and have a little bit of a dance party here. It's not exactly scary, it's pretty fun to watch, but a part of Haunt is being entertained, so there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a dance party. Here's a little piece of it right here. And after getting scared by that scare actor, we'll go over and take a look at the menu for the bar. Here's a look at the DJ on top of the bar. And then we'll go over and take a closer look at the actual menu. So here's the menu at the Misfits Bar. You can see they have a few different cocktails, the blood bag, zombie juice, I want to drink your blood. They have some draft beers, some canned beers. They also have some mocktails and some snacks. So we're trying a couple of drinks from the Misfit Bar. Jen got the Trick or Treat chocolate porter, and you can get either a 16-ounce regular cup or a 20-ounce souvenir Haunt cup, which lights up. As you can see, that's what Jen got, the 20-ounce. And it says Dorney Park Haunt on here specifically. I got the Hydra's Revenge cocktail, which is caramel vodka with a green apple liquid inside here. And as you can see, they also added some carbon dioxide, I assume, for the bubbling effect. That is really awesome looking. The Hydra's Revenge and most of the other cocktails there are $14.99. This 20-ounce light-up mug is also $14.99, or if you get the 16-ounce regular cup, it's $9.99. So Jen said her chocolate porter, not surprisingly, was very chocolatey flavored, so it tastes just like she was expecting. She really enjoyed it. She said it's got a lot of foam to it, so it came out of the tap there very foamy, like it should, so it's a really good beer. My Hydra's Revenge, since it's supposed to taste like a caramel apple, that actually came through really well. The sourness of the drink was kind of balanced out by the flavor of the caramel vodka, toned down the sour, and really made it taste even more like a caramel apple than, like, say, a caramel apple candy, for example. It's really good. We had to backtrack slightly, but now we're checking out Tourist Trap, which has a pretty cool entrance at night. We're actually going to be going up this hill, though. taking a look at the facade of the actual maze at night, the facade of the actual storefronts. I really like how this looks at night. Even the windows on the upper floor of the first building are lit up. Wild Horse Trap was a really creepy haunted house. There are so many spooks in there. There are a lot of, Jen pointed out there's a lot of misdirection in there. They have you looking one way at a picture or a door or something, and someone pops out a completely different direction. Really catches you off guard. This is another house where they have you opening doors yourself instead of having wide open access to the next room. So I still think that's kind of weird, but it might just be a Dorney Park thing. I guess that we'll have to see if the other houses continue to be that way. It was definitely one of the really good houses here. We still have a lot to go, so I can't say it's one of the best, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the best. We really enjoyed that house. It's one of the ones where as you progress through the house, the story starts off a little creepy and then gradually gets more and more disturbing until you get out of there. There's a former game booth right outside of the Carn-Evil scare zone that they're using as a souvenir shop. That's kind of a neat use of this space, and I like that they're playing the creepy music right outside too to keep the mood fresh.
Carn-Evil or Chicken?
We meet again.
Bye-bye.
sort of in the middle of nowhere is this giant haunt sign that's lit up nice and red for the occasion. I guess the closest landmark that I can give you to find it in the park is right over here is Dominator, the drop tower. That's a little bit in the distance, but that's the closest landmark to where this big haunt sign is. That's really cool though if you can find it. In the middle of the Port of Call Scare Zone is the Port of Call Pub. Here's a look at the menu that they have here. It is a little bit more limited than what they had at the Misfits Bar, but that's still a pretty decent selection. Including soft pretzels. we've made our way to the Roadside Stop and Shop, all lit up in blood red. This sign looks particularly cool at night. The car's all lit up, and occasionally the headlights will come on. Not occasionally enough. We probably won't see them while we're standing here, but we did see them come on once as we were walking this way. The Roadside Stop and Shop. The Roadside Stop and Shop was incredible. The set design was amazing. Unlike Cornstalkers and King's Dominion, you go through some cornfields and then you go back into some buildings, back into the cornfields, and every time you go into a makeshift building of sorts, the decorations are amazing. They have, it's very gory, so if you're not a fan of gore, you probably won't like it, but they have little Easter eggs hidden all around, such as little scared looking vegetation drawings around the place. It's a lot of fun to go through, and we have to add that we were lucky enough to be able to go through the whole maze by ourselves, no one in front or behind us, so we got all the scares, and those scare actors in there really know what they're doing. They did a great job of scaring, so we had a ton of fun in that one. Here's a look at the Outpost Bar on the outskirts of the Dystopia scare zone. And inside here, here's a look at their menu. Let's see. It looks like they have a Bloody Eyeball Sangria and a Toxic Waste that I don't think we saw anywhere else. Toxic Waste in particular fits this area really well. I don't see a whole lot of other things on the menu that stand out from the other bars.
Don't look behind you.
look in front of you. Don't look to the side either.
There he is again, the vlogger.
It's the Frogger. This is not the Frogger.
He's limbo with his gimbal.
House number 5 for the night is Ghost in the Machine. You notice a theme here with the red lighting on the signs. Celebrating the brand new haunted house and the upcoming coaster that's coming to this area, they have Ghost in the Machine lighting on the ground on the way to the actual house that's down this way. Here's a look at this impressive Ghost in the Machine facade at night. Red lights everywhere. And a scare actor following people out the door. I am absolutely not exaggerating when I say that the Ghost in the Machine house is almost on a par with a Halloween Horror Nights house. They put a good story together. You can tell they put time, effort, and money into this house. There is so much to like about this house. There's a bunch of misdirection, a bunch of great hiding spots. There are special effects, there are screens. Oh. There's also somebody behind me.
I am hanging outside my factory.
Sorry, I was just talking about it.
I'll let you go this time.
After that interruption, you can see that's another reason I enjoy this house. We both enjoyed this house a lot. The scare actors are so creepy in here. The detail on the inside is amazing. The only regret is that we couldn't record it. It was a very long house too. There were tons of rooms you think you're done, and there's more to it. There are people hanging from ropes from above. There are special effects in the steel mill area. There are so many different areas to visit, and each one has its own unique features. I'm incredibly impressed by this house, and I can't speak highly enough of it. My only complaint is that we couldn't record it. Here's a look at the not scare zone with displays that are lit up, scattered around. Multiple different designs as you go around them. They really look cool at nighttime. I really like the haunted house with the eyes and the Grim Reaper. Without this being a scare zone, these boxes are kind of weird, a little bit out of place, but they're really cool looking, especially when they're lit up at night. The next to last house of the night that we're visiting is Trick or Treat. The facade doesn't look much different at night, but the blue lighting is a nice touch. And finally, we're wrapping up our night with a spooky stroll through a cemetery with the Necropolis. So, Trick or Treat and the Necropolis. Trick or Treat was a surprisingly short house, especially compared to the version that's at King's Dominion. Because it's so brief, it wasn't quite as enjoyable as the one at King's Dominion. But despite that, it was still a really great house. There were plenty of scare actors, plenty of great props, some animatronics, some unexpected turns. We didn't know whether we were coming or going a couple of times, so it was still a fun house, even if it isn't as great as its fellow house over in Virginia. The Necropolis, we had kind of a unique experience in that we went through that one late at night, close to park close, and we were the only ones going through, so all of the scare actors were after us, and because it's a cemetery, there are tons of hiding spaces behind every tombstone. You don't know where to look. It's outdoors, so the scare actors can be anywhere. It's a wide open space, and they followed us for a long way because we were the only ones in there. That made the experience a lot of fun. I know it's not typical for an average day, but it was still a fun experience, and even if you go on a more crowded day, I still think that would be a fun house to go through just because of all the hiding spaces that are kind of possible in there. So, all the scare zones, they were overall really great. The Midway Misfits scare zone was a little bit odd. It's kind of strange that they mostly stayed around the bar. The dance party aspect was kind of fun, especially having the DJ on top of the bar. So it was unique, but I don't know if I would call it a scare zone. It really wasn't all that scary, though. The makeup on the scare actors was amazing, and I think you'll find that to be a common theme with the scare zones. Dystopia, I knew it would look really cool, and it does. As you can see, it's right behind me right now, and it looks awesome. That's just a little bit of it. So they did a really good job with the set design on that one, and I had a lot of fun going through there. It looks great at night when all the lights are shining on the graffiti. It really pops. There weren't as many scare actors in that one compared to some of the other scare zones, but it was still fun to walk through. The Carn-Evil scare zone, you know, Jen's not really a big fan of clowns at all, and they could sense that they were all over her as we went through, so Jen found that one to definitely be the scariest. I thought it was a lot of fun. The fog machines in there and the decorations were really great. These people who slid on their hands and knees were great scares. They made us jump multiple times. And the giant hammer that one of them was carrying, the mask with the light up eyes, it was like something out of The Purge. It was a really fun scare zone where I really enjoyed going through it, even though it scared Jen a lot. The Hollow was pretty good. They have a lot of scare actors in there, and they know exactly where to hide to make you jump. There's kind of a fork in the path, and you can go either way, so they put scare actors on both ends of the fork to make you jump. There's also a lot of really good makeup on those scare actors in there. It's kind of a colonial times themed area, a little bit of a colonial town, and their wardrobe really matches that. They spent some money on the costume design there compared to some of the scare zones. Last but not least, Port of Call, the largest scare zone. It's really cool that they had the bar next to a stage. As you saw in the video for the Skeleton Crew, they put on a great show over there. The scare actors were really talented. There was one in particular, as I made a U-turn, he was standing at the very end of the walkway when you see the walkthrough of the scare zone. He had great makeup and he really was in character. Those actors really know how to perform as pirates, and it was a lot of fun. That might have been our favorite scare zone of the night. Interestingly, Center Stage isn't showing anything on the stage. They do, however, have it decorated for Halloween Haunt. They have some skeletons on a couple of thrones. Interesting decoration choice when they're not actually doing a show again. So in our King's Dominion Haunt video, we had mentioned that we thought that King's Dominion had set the bar very high, even though we remembered Dorney Park being the more superior haunted event compared to King's Dominion, and we thought Dorney would have a difficult time this year keeping up with what King's Dominion did. Well, they managed to surpass King's Dominion still. The Ghost in the Machine House alone is superior to anything that King's Dominion had. Not that their houses were bad, but compared to the Ghost in the Machine House, I just have no words for how good that house is. And the other houses were very impressive. The scare actors were crazy good. They were really committed to their roles, which I appreciated. Of course, to be fair, our experience wasn't typical. The park was pretty quiet today, and we got a couple of houses all to ourselves, which means we got all of the scares. And also, coming out of the park, we had to pass through some of the scare zones over again, and with the crowds being low, we got a lot of the scares from those scare actors as well. So I understand that it's not typical, but this was a Sunday night. This event is way too good for the crowd to be so low attending it even for a Sunday night. So I'm not typically one to beg, but if you're in the area and you're able to make it to this, you really should come to this event. It is spectacular. You will not regret it if you like haunted events, which if you're watching this video, I assume you do. It's the best one that we've been to outside of Orlando, so I'm pretty sure you will enjoy yourself. So if you enjoyed this video, we would appreciate it if you would like it and also subscribe to the channel. Every like and subscribe is a big help. Also, please be sure to check out our Instagram page, which is appearing up in the top right now where Jen's pointed, and our Threads channel, which is appearing right below that. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for watching, but the fun's not over yet. Click the box in front of my face for another fun video, or click my tree to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss another video.